Well, this is the morning brief. Today we stay again with Osun State as we just in the aftermath of that polls there and try to see how we can review what played out on August 15. One of the major players in that election is the ADC and the APC. We reached out to the APC. They are not ready to speak with us just yet, but the ADC is here. They didn't just come third. Some would say they came a distant third. Buki.
Yes, indeed, Kelly. And joining us now is lawyer, public affairs analyst, columnist, and of course, he's the official spokesperson of His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, former vice president and presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress. Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo is live for us from our Abuja studio. Mr. Okonkwo, good morning, sir, and welcome to the morning brief.
Yeah, good morning, and it's my pleasure being here again. And good morning, viewers from wherever you're watching.
So we've spoken to the winners, and now we are with you, the ADC. Your party scored just a little over 17,000 votes, a distant, very distant third. And for a party that is positioning itself to take over the top job from Mr. President, some would say the morning shows the day. Despite the Aregbesola effect, the ADC couldn't pull its weight.
Well, first of all, let me congratulate the Osun people for this wonderful victory. It was very decisive. Let me also extend my congratulations to Governor Ademola Adeleke of the Accord Party. You know, the Osun people refused to succumb to the blackmail of intimidation, of manipulation, of political banditry, political hegemony that the Aso Rock landlord wanted to foist on them. And they came out with a decisive victory. If you recall, Osun people were arrested, they were jailed, they were injured, they were killed. But they resisted. They did not succumb to all those banditry. If you will recall again, Osun people, unfortunately, they unleashed the ministers against them, unleashed the governors against them, unleashed the legislators from the highest level of the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives against them, unleashed all the apparatus of state against them. But yet, they did not buckle. They came out and defended their votes and came out with a salutary result, showing that the power of the people will always be greater than the people in power. Of course, according to Atiku Abubakar, this is a forerunner of what 2027 is going to be like. And he also said another important lesson is that this is a manifestation of how the resolve of the people to stand and defend their votes will always lead to an end to rigging, to vote buying and other electoral malpractice. Well, you know that naturally there is always this issue about elections, and then wherever two parties are dominant, you'll discover that it's always very difficult for a third party or other parties to take over wherever two parties are dominant. Let us be realistic. In Osun State, you have the ruling party, which is Accord Party. And you have the federal might, which even the Osun State governor had to pant to survive their onslaught. Our own polling unit, you recall that before the election, Rauf Aregbesola, they threatened to arrest him in the polling unit of our candidate. If you remember, they tear gassed them, they chased them away. Polling unit, his own polling unit. He had to come back to even contest election. Remember, even before the election, the account of Osun State government was frozen. So then you can imagine all the other parties. So please, That is the forerunner of 2027, and all the opposition parties, will work together for 2027 and deliver Atiku Abubakar as the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Wow.
Our performance was very commendable because we didn't have the state apparatus in the state, we didn't have the federal government apparatus, and as you can see, the state government through Honorable Salam, you can see all the things they passed through, even with the apparatus of state. Then you can imagine ADC that didn't have any apparatus of state, whether state or federal. But at least we are happy that the opposition has proved their point. But let me make this important point very clearly. I am not congratulating INEC whatsoever for what happened in Osun State. Why am I saying that? Professor Mahmood organized a very good election in Osun State in 2022. And the opposition relaxed. And they thought that would be how 2023 election will be. And in 2023 election, he still went forward to glitch the election and deliver a very flawed election. So the opposition should not let down their guard. I am telling you, and I'm saying this with every sense of responsibility, the election of Osun State in 2026 is worse than the election of Osun State in 2022. If you recall, the Honorable Salam said, till 1 a.m., they continued attempting to subvert the election. By 8 p.m., they suspended the uploading of results on IREF. And nobody has come out to tell us why. And they must come out to tell us why. So there is still apprehension. And I'm telling you that the performance of INEC is not to be applauded. It is to be questioned. Why did they suspend the uploading of the result by 8 p.m. of Osun election? And then Osun people had to fight. They had to go to collation centers. Do you know to the build up of the Osun election, more than 50 persons were killed. Not one person ought to be killed. More than 100 injured. Not one person ought to be injured. Of course, no politician's ambition is worth the blood of any Nigerian. I am speaking as President Jonathan spoke. So we are not there yet. And the opposition should rather prepare very much. And you know why? Anytime APC loses the Osun election, they get into a panic mode. And they will now prepare all the arsenals to attack the opposition in the general election. Because that result is a manifestation of the complete loss of confidence in APC. They lost and they will lose again in 2027.
Yeah, Mr. Boba, I know that. Yeah,
vote and defend their votes.
I know that you've talked about the fact that even the ruling party in the state had to fight with their life to be able to survive. So, not to talk about the ADC.
Yes.
So the data is showing us that the ADC is not on ground as far as Osun is concerned in this election. Less than 5% of the vote when you compare it to the winner. So two questions in one. And this is a test case in the Southwest. The person you speak for actually won Osun State in the last presidential election. So I want you to juxtapose that with this result and what you think the chances are. But on the other part, the flip side is, I think politicians, it's important that you prepare for sabotage, you prepare for this onslaught. The APC is not going to sit still. It will deploy anything and everything, sometimes legal or illegal when necessary, if we're not careful, because we have weak institutions. And this is what political parties do when they're in charge. How is the ADC preparing? Let's say this is a test case, that the ADC have looked at Osun State and say, okay, this is why we lost, and we're going to come at this 2027 election this way. What is the approach that we should be looking at from the ADC?
We are going to adopt the Osun formula.
Which is?
The Osun formula, which is match APC. Polling unit by polling unit, in whatever they decide to bring. Now, Senator Fadorunshi, permit me for that pronunciation. Is it Fadorunshi? This is Okoroma. So, okay, you know what he said? And I saw this on Davido's X account. he said, and permit me to say that that is exactly the formula APC is going to adopt, because he's a senator of the Federal Republic and he said the mind of APC. Now, he said on election day, whether they come out with their voters card or not, we will not allow them to vote. From now onwards, every Accord member that comes out, kill them. I give you the authority to kill them. This is a federal government election. This is his words. And obviously, this is what APC is planning for in 2027. So we have learned from this statement that we are not expecting INEC conducted election in 2027. We are expecting a federal government conducted election. And of course, President Tinubu has said all is fair in politics. So you can corroborate him from 2023 when he told you, you don't serve power a la carte, you grab it, you snatch it, and you run away with it. So we are going to plan to withstand them from the polling unit, from snatching our result and running away with it. And let us sound a note of advice and warning. Osun result has proved that there is nothing like technical glitch, except it is an INEC manufactured technical glitch. There is nothing like being incapable of transmitting from the polling unit onto the IRF portal every election result in real time. Because like I always say, you don't need network to transmit. Network is only to download. So no presiding officer should give any excuse whatsoever that there is no network. In Osun State, from every part of Osun, no matter how remote it is, they transmitted. So we are going to hold every presiding officer responsible for whatever is going on in the polling unit. If you know you are not ready to conduct free and fair election, stay in your house so that you will not be glitched. Because any glitch is intentionally orchestrated to rig election. We are going to match them polling unit by polling unit. We are going to match them. If they want to kill, they will be killed. It is legitimate law that self-defense requires. Whoever wants to kill you, you have the right to defend yourself.
Please, we will not be calling for violence. I'm sure you're not calling for anarchy. So we can be measured, Mr. Okonkwo.
I stand by what I stand by what Davido said.
So we can be measured. You know, yes, we're on international television, so we need to be measured in our remarks.
We want, yes, this is what the young Davido said, and that is exactly what I subscribe to. He said, we don't want bloodshed, we don't want intimidation. We want transparency, we want peace, and we want free and fair election. But the law allows me to defend myself if you want to kill me.
All right, Mr. Okonkwo.
So the opposition will not put their neck for you to kill them.
All right.
Because a man has told you he authorized people to kill every Accord member.
Mr. Okonkwo, well,
do you want the Accord members to leave their neck to be killed?
We'll leave that for the security agencies. Nigerians are still watching to see what will be the outcome of the invite to distinguished Senator Francis Fadahunsi. I'm glad that you're a lawyer, so you know how this works.
Remember,
but I'm also so that I can squeeze in as many questions as possible.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, land on your thoughts. Land on your thoughts, please.
Okay, I was saying that the senator said that 2027 will be a federal government election. Please, the federal government has no power under our law to do anything about election. So any attempt for the federal government to interfere in any election will be roundly resisted. He also said that even if you come with your voter's card, we will not allow you to vote. Every Nigerian that comes with his voter's card must insist that he votes, and not only that he votes, he must stay there and defend his votes. This is his fundamental human right. And democracy means that people should be allowed to freely vote, and people's vote should be allowed to count. So we are going to ensure that, and we're preparing for that as opposition parties and the coalition.
All right. Well, in terms of significance of this particular off-cycle elections, there are those who say that, you know what, this is perhaps a dress rehearsal for major players because it builds up to 2027 and all of that. But again, 17,180 votes. That's what your candidate scored, Najim. And there are those who are a bit worried because when they think about the fact that your party has a former governor, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, and you compare it with 17,180 votes. Again, your party, when I followed that rally, your party stakeholders and chieftains, they all boasted that it was only your party that had the presidential candidates visit Osun State, Osogbo, for the campaigns, and that the final rally just ahead of the election. So, you know, and all of those, your top leaders were there. His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was there, David Mark was there, and all of that. You know, so those who are just wondering, what kind of weight or impact did that really have in terms of supporting your candidate, Salam, to do well at the polls?
Oh, well, maybe you forgot too quickly that the coming into power of His Excellency Governor Adeleke 1.0, that Atiku Abubakar went to Osun State, raised his hand, campaigned for him, and was part of the people that helped him to come into power for the first time in Osun State. So the political influence and affluence of Atiku Abubakar looms large. So he is actually the foundation of Governor Adeleke as the overarching power that helped him to come to power.
Mr. Okonkwo,
like I told you.
Yeah, Mr. Okonkwo,
Yes.
just as you respond, that is even part of the argument. There are those who even think that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar raised his hands behind the scenes and only went to Osogbo to raise the hands of Najim. That's why he was quick to congratulate him. The likes of another chieftain in your party, Chief Dele Momodu, also had support for their court party, his brother and friend, the governor. So perhaps that's the part of the argument.
Well, like I told you, the foundation of Adeleke's political relevance and coming into power can be rooted in Atiku Abubakar, and that tells you his overarching power on the political hemisphere of Nigeria. And when Adeleke came into power through that influence, PDP was not even the power at the center. So that tells you how politically affluent and influential that Atiku Abubakar is. And let me tell you, earlier in this program, I told you that politics is always governed by two major political forces. And I said, in this instance, recall, we went into a coalition and PDP became moribund. And so such affiliations will always bring in initial adjustments and distortions, which takes time to build. The most important thing is that the opposition won in Osun State, built on the foundation of the political influence that Atiku Abubakar rendered when it was established. And our performance will be greeted with joy within the framework that opposition still won. Tinubu's congratulatory message came even faster than Atiku Abubakar's own. So Atiku Abubakar is a quintessential Democrat who will respect democratic norms. And Governor Adeleke won, and he congratulated Adeleke because he won decisively. ADC is built on rule of law, is built on respect for democratic principles. I can tell you without mincing words that if the outcome of 2027 reflects the will of the Nigerian people, ADC will do the needful. So Atiku Abubakar did the needful And I am so proud of what he did.
Mr. Okonkwo, I doubt that you have, answered the question satisfactorily, because former Governor Aregbesola lost his polling unit, regardless of whatever intimidation that may have come through. He scored a dismal 13 votes. And despite Mr. Momodu's loyalty to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, he didn't reward Alhaji Atiku Abubakar at this very critical time with support for the ADC candidate. He expressed support for his longtime friend and ally, the incumbent in Osun State. And so, if that is the case, what strategy can you convince Nigerians, about, that the ADC plans to deploy to win the elections in 2027?
Well, when I came in here, you rightly introduced me as the official spokesperson of Atiku Abubakar, not the official spokesperson of Osun State gubernatorial candidate. So you should even be very happy that I even gave you the answers that I gave to you. Gubernatorial election is not the same thing with presidential election. Presidential election is 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Rauf Aregbesola, as a matter of fact, and I'm telling you this as a statement of fact, I had to call him personally on the night of the election. I said, Your Excellency, where are you? I heard that your head is being haunted. Are you safe? I had to do that. And we raised the alarm that he was to be arrested. And you know what it would have been? So, and he told me, Ken, we are trying to play safe. So I want you to understand the terrible situation. 50 persons were killed before then. And I'm telling you that we did not have state power. We did not have federal government power. And I'm telling you that in the presidential election, APC has already been defeated. With all their ministers, with all their legislators, with all their governors in Osun State, they were decisively defeated. Who will vote for 1,300 and something for price per liter of fuel? Who will vote for 1,400 naira to dollar? When they inherited about 190 something fuel price and inherited about 500 naira as in naira to a dollar. Who is going to vote for incurable insecurity around Nigeria? Who is going to vote for high cost of transportation? ASU is now on strike. Everything is collapsing. Yet, this government that suspended fuel subsidy is the same government that is borrowing us into slavery. Who is going to vote for that? Osun people rejected APC roundly, and that's the most important point that they communicated, as the Nigerian people will reject APC on the national level. So I'm trying to tell you that we are celebrating what happened in Osun because it will be the dress rehearsal. It is the dress rehearsal, and it is the forerunner of what will happen in 2027. So prepare for the opposition taking over government in 2027 and saving Nigeria from collapse, both politically, economically, socially, and otherwise. We are collapsing. What else is remaining for Nigeria except to collapse?
Well, one of
what I am saying is that we did appreciably well within the context of what we found ourselves, and I'm happy that Rauf Aregbesola is still alive. And I'm happy that Najim is still alive. He was chased away from his own polling unit. So,
well, Mr.
when we are alive, then we will face the national election in 2027.
It's debatable that a mere 17,000 plus can be described as creditably well performance. We'll see, one of the things that you also said is it takes time to build. Your party also, performed abysmally in the last Ekiti off-cycle election. We'll see how much time you have and you need, to improve upon your performance ahead of 2027. But we must anchor at this point. Mr. Kenneth Okonkwo is a lawyer, public affairs analyst, columnist, and official spokesperson of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar and candidate of the African Democratic Congress for the 2027 election. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, we'll return after this break, during which we'll now look at all other parameters of the elections in Osun State in terms of the performance of INEC, logistics, and all the other related elements. That will be after this time out. Join us again.